Well, what's up, everybody? We're here on Ramna today. I guess the last video on Ramna, which was the first video, uh, things looked a little different. I think I didn't have seasons enabled. I do now. So we're early spring, just starting off. And so what I think I'm going to do is, of course, we had already gotten started doing the logging over here at this, the other site first, and then we moved over here to this one. But I think I'm just going to continue on with the forestry for quite a bit. I'd like to get, maybe a few items or tracts of timber, or I mean not timber, tracts of land bought. We can do some farming. Be nice to have something kind of big. Maybe, field 28 or 23 is pretty good size, and maybe I don't know, maybe a couple or something up in this area too, just to have something different. But I'd like to get a couple of big fields. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 27 and 28 to start off, and then, I don't know, but we can kind of switch between the farming side and the forestry side. I've really enjoyed doing the farming, and it's kind of unfortunate that my Medicine Creek videos don't get many views, because I think they're pretty good. Especially this last one, I spent a good bit of time editing on that, and trying to make it as best possible. And when I was doing the gameplay itself, trying to get the good camera angles and really think about just the gameplay itself, and not spending too much time in these menus and stuff, which a lot of that I edited out, but just trying to be, aware of that and make it a pretty nice video, which I think it was. But I think the last time I looked, I only had 40 views on it, which is pretty pathetic. But I realize a lot of you guys are here for the login. That's because, I started off doing the YouTube stuff with the login side of it, and gained a bunch of followers, which is the majority of you, for the forestry stuff. So in this series, what I'm going to try to do is do a good bit of logging and mix in some farming. So probably what we're going to end up doing is, we got this. I bought this tract of timber here because it was next to the road, but then we got these other pieces. Like this one over here would be good because we can drive up to it. And I don't really particularly care for this the tracts of land, the way they did this, because it's all different pieces scattered around the map. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it that way. And these tracts to me are just way too small. And I know this is a 4X map, but these are way too small. And again, I understand that this is based off of, somewhere in the European area, and they probably do things a lot differently than we do here in the States. But here in the United States, for the most part, what you'll see is larger tracts of timber, at least where I live anyway, because, you're trying to grow lots of timber to feed those paper mills and lumber mills and stuff. And these little small tracts of timber do nothing for that, because, just to me, if some of the sizes of these maps or these tracts kind of hold true, then, a logging crew, around here would be done in a day or two and have to move again. So normally what I see is, 120 acres, 80 acres, maybe, but some of these, timber companies, they'll have tracts of timber. It's, 1,000 acres or more. It's huge. So I don't know. These things don't make sense to me, but it is what it is, and so we'll play it. But so what I'm thinking about doing, let's see, what is field 28? What's 2.2 million? That's not terrible, I guess. 584. Because when we log all these tracts, we'll have a bunch of money. So what I'm going to do probably is we'll log until we get enough money, maybe to buy field 27 or 23, something like that. And then I'm going to be seriously thinking about where I want to set up my homestead, my farm, because I thought about here, because it's next to the river, kind of nice views and everything. There is a field right there we could purchase, but there's just not enough room right there. So I don't know. Maybe... Well, maybe just pick another spot. And here's a nice spot down here next to this lake or whatever. So I kind of like to set up there, well, at least that we got some sort of a view. But then I'd also like to set up in a spot to where, it's fairly flat, where I could, create some fields in there and farm it. So I don't know. I'll have to keep hunting around because I don't really see. Here's the biogas plant. I mean, maybe that might be a possibility. We could build us a road in here and put us a farm because of the pond there. I'm looking for something that's got a nice setup, with a pond or some waterfront property or something, just to give us some nice views. But we'll work on that later. So for today, what I think I'm going to do is let's try to log out this little track right here, and then we'll move maybe to one of these other ones, maybe this one over here or something, and just kind of go on from there. And it's been a while since I've actually done a voiceover, mainly because I got my new computer set up. In fact, I'm playing on my new computer right now, and I can't really show you my options because it's not in this screen. But I'm running everything on very high, and I've got shadows turned up and stuff, and so it's all running fairly high. But so far it's pretty good. I mean, let's see. I'm pegged at 60. So I'm really impressed with this new computer I've got. So it's a AMD Ryzen 7 2700. So it's a little bit older chip, but I didn't want to spring for the higher cost of the newer chip. I wanted to go with the 7 versus the 5 just because I felt like it was a bit more powerful chip, but also understand that the Ryzen 5 newer one I think is compatible with this, or pretty comparable with this one. But, anyway, 32 gigs of RAM. I've got a Radeon 5600 XT graphics card. So it's a pretty nice computer I built, and it's got a 500 gig the little M.2 hard drive in there, just kind of for speed mostly. And then I've got a 1 terabyte, no, 2 terabyte drive. It's just a regular old hard drive for putting the game recordings on and stuff. But anyway, the deal with the voiceovers was just laziness, really. I've been pretty slow getting everything set up to fully transition to using this computer versus the other one. Let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to cut that tree down. Come on. I've had this issue with these trees. Figure out exactly where to stand to get them cut right. Huh. There it goes. There's no way I'm going to be able to swing this around. Of course it's not. Alright, so I do want to get, there it is, stump grinder, wood chipper over here. I've never really played with seasons much. It's kind of neat how the grass is brown. did want to check and see if what I did to the map is going to make it where oh, yeah, it's not going to let me. Okay, never mind. Different look with this brown grass. It's kind of weird. Everything certainly looks brighter too. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe because there's more sunlight getting through the trees. No leaves on them. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yep, so those of you wondering where I've been voice-wise, well, two different things really. One is I've just been slow getting everything set up on my new computer. And then two, I subscribe to Epidemic Sound for my music, so I've been really enjoying, the new music, which I hope in the last couple of videos well, let's see, I don't think I did that for Ramna. I may have. Yeah, I think I did, okay. So Ramna, this first, getting started with Ramna, that was the first video I used where I had the Epidemic Sound music, and then the Medicine Creek from Monday would have been the next one. Just a second one I've used. So I really enjoyed the music on there, although the country music's a little lacking. And the stuff with vocals is mostly about love and lost somebody and trying to get somebody back and whatever. I don't know. It's kind of all the same topics, so it's sort of tough to find music with vocals that have something unique and different. But anyway, just the instrumental versions is pretty cool. Alright, so let's cut that off. Let's see if we can't get us a load out of here and get us some money. I'm just going to have to do the best I can with trees cut. I really need to clear this out some more of those. What I need to do. I just sort of opened it up a little. I didn't really clear it out good. Because just as soon as I leave these trees here, I'm going to hit them with the tips of them. Those trees I just pulled up, and then we're going to have a mess. That might be enough. If we need to cut some more, we can come back and cut some more. Let's see what we can do here. I'm also having to readjust how I'm playing because I've got my new computer on my left-hand side, which my other computer was on my right-hand side, and I had everything kind of situated differently, so it's gonna take a little getting used to. All my joystick wires and stuff are coming from a different direction. But some of my other stuff is coming from the same direction, so now it's all coming from the left. Kind of weird. Well, I'm hoping that whenever I get my new home office set up and going, I'll be able to get things situated a little better, because I'm going to have about, probably 1.5 times more desk space. That's what I'm planning on, and I'm gonna have some, some good spots to run wires and holes in the desk to, reroute wires differently and stuff. Because I mean, if you looked at the back of my computer right now, or right behind my desk, it is a freaking rat's nest of wires back there. I don't even know what goes where. So I'm planning to fix all that when I get my new computer or computer desk built. I'm just going to take some plywood and build me something and just paint it, probably black. And then I'm going to have like some. I've already got this cool little. It's you drill a hole, and then it's like a cup with some USB ports, and I think one or two electrical outlets is in there. Then you just plug it into an electrical outlet or a strip or something to provide the power. So that'll be cool. So I can just hook up, or charge devices, or plug in a monitor or whatever I need to do, just right there on top of the desk instead of running the wires around or under or something. And I'm going to do some other cool stuff, like have some. I forget what they're called, but just basically holes in the desk so I can run wires down through there instead of behind, just to make it look cleaner. Because the way I've got my desk right now, it's just up against a wall and nobody sees all that stuff unless they look back there. But with my new setup, I'm going to have my desk, the back of my desk really is going to be facing the door, so anybody that walks in could see all that mess hanging down from behind it. So I'm going to have a tray up underneath to route all the wires and hopefully make it nice and tidy and stuff, and be easier to work with. Because my desk right now, I have 4 monitors on my desk. One of them's up on a pole mounted up high where I can it's basically my work monitor for email and mostly email, but and then I got some speakers mounted up there too for my other computer, and well, for this one too. But it's tough to see back down there behind there because I got so much junk on the top of the desk. 4 monitors, speaker stands, speakers. There's all kind of stuff here. Alright, I think that was it. Alright, let's get that cleaned up, and then I think I'm going to drag up just one more load of logs, trees, and then we'll process those, and we'll try to make us a load out of here. Should have enough then. Something else I'm thinking about too is I've got my joysticks are just I just put them up on top of the desk. And what I'm thinking about doing is mounting them on like some pieces of wood, just a piece of plywood, and have the piece of plywood about as wide as the joysticks, but about twice or 3 times as long. Then I'm thinking about mounting them somehow underneath the desk where they'll like slide in, so I can remove them, put them to the side. Then when I need them, I'll just slide them in that little slot, and then they'll be nice and steady. But like I said, if I need to, remove them for some reason to get them out of the way or whatever, I'll just pull them out of that slot and put them to the side. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I think that'd be kind of neat. Maybe even put some kind of like a little thumb screw or something on the bottom of it so I can secure it to the desk where it won't slide out if I don't want it to. Something like that. So I've got all kinds of ideas for this new desk. I just got to get around to it and buy the wood. This tree out of the way first, sort of just in the middle of everything. You know, I don't normally run chains or anything on skidder tires just because mostly what I see around here is not a need for it. But I thought these looked really cool. This is the John Deere 648, I believe, G2, I think is what it is. Let me look here. Yeah, the G2, well it says 640, but it's, I believe it's a 648. This is an edit of this mod by Mountain State Modding. You can check out their stuff at www.mountainstatemodding.com. They have some pretty neat stuff. You know what, I might better, hold on. Turn that down just a little bit. I think the desktop, the game audio is a little high. I just noticed that. Sorry if it was super high. I'll try to adjust that. Like I said, I'm still getting everything set up on this new computer. It's work, I tell you. The new computer runs awesome and it does great. I mean, like I said, I'm running, you know, full, you know, not ultra, but very high settings. And you know, it's been staying right around 60. When you get around some other equipment, mods and stuff, you can see it drops to about 45, 40, 43, something like that. But just because there's the high polygon count and stuff, and it's having to draw all that. But you can see when I'm just doing normal operations stuff here, it's not too much is in the screen. You know, I'm pegging out at 60, so I'm really happy with this. And it's the first computer I've built in a long time. The last, I think, 2 computers that I've owned that I've actually bought, they were Dells, and I had a, I think it was a Dell XPS 4000 series or something. Then I got a Dell XPS 8300, and that was what I was playing on before. But like I said, this computer that I built was, you know, I went with the AMD Ryzen chip, which I'd always been Intel, but everything I've been reading and hearing about and stuff, the Ryzen chips were just blowing Intel out of the water. So I was like, I'll just go for it and see what happens. But I'm really happy so far. I'll try to finagle these trees back around behind everything so I'm not disrupting what I've already drug up there. Maybe I can grab this one too on the way and get it pulled up there. Yeah, I'm really happy with this computer so far. It's been really good. The only issue I've had with it is when I first start up the computer, it never wants to boot up Windows on the very first try. It always, for some reason, it always goes to a black screen. Oops. And then I have to hold down the power button and restart it to actually, and usually on the second attempt, Windows will boot, which is very weird. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I haven't really investigated it very close either, but that's what it does. But that's the only issue with it. I've got 2 monitors with it, so all my stuff's hooked up with all the USB ports and stuff, so I'm really liking it. The hardest part about this computer build, which, like I said, it's been the first one I've built since a long time, probably 15 years ago or something was when I built my last one, first and last one. And the only difficult thing about this was, hooking up all the cables and stuff inside the computer itself. I mean, there's so much stuff. You got all the wires coming from the power supply that has to go to the motherboard, the hard drives, the fans. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. It was a mess, but I got it figured out, I think. There was tons of stuff to hook up on the motherboard too. But I'd recommend, if you're a techie type person or whatever, or just want to learn, I mean, it's a good way to do it. And plus you can say you built it yourself, and not Dell or whoever. But then on the other side of it is, if something goes wrong, you're the only one that can fix it. Unless you got a IT friend or something. Or pay somebody to fix it. But if you do it right, there shouldn't be any fixing. If something doesn't work right, then obviously you've done something wrong in the build. Either the hardware is not compatible, or you need to update something or whatever, which that's the first thing I did was I went through, updated the BIOS, updated all the drivers, I mean everything, motherboard even. It's just what you got to do. And alright guys, I'm going to have to cut this video a little bit short today, not right now, but here in about probably 15 to 20 minutes I'm going to have to call it a video. I've got my parents coming over, and I'm going to have to meet with them for just a minute. So I'm going to try to get this loaded up, and we'll get this one truckload sold, and then probably be it for this video. And there's one thing I want to check out too. I did make another change to the map, and that is the log cell point that I had problems with last time. The one with those blue racks, had problems with that, so I'm going to see if I got that fixed. And if it's still really laggy, then I'm not sure what's going on with that. Alright, so I'm just going to drop that off there. And we'll just drive around here to the other side and start loading it up. Actually, I'm going to come back to where I was. I forgot about that. Or I could back the truck up. I don't know. Well, I'll just come back to the other side. When we get enough money, eventually I'm going to buy another one of these, and then we'll have the processor and the loader. I should have put that grapple on the other side to begin with. Didn't even think about it. I've got seasons set up to be, each season is going to be 9 days long. I just took the default. I figured that'd be good enough. If we can't, get fields planted or harvested or whatever in 9 days, we got problems. But we'll see how that goes. Now the forestry side of it, of course, doesn't really matter. It doesn't depend on seasons whatsoever. You can harvest trees whenever you want to. But of course, when we're doing the farming side of it, we'll have to plant during certain times and harvest during certain times. So it'll be fun. what I'm doing with these length of logs probably isn't really advised, but it's a game, so whatever. I'd like for it all to be fairly neat. And that was just about right. I don't know if we're going to be able to get all of these on here. Maybe. We'll find out here in a second. Oh, no, I missed some. Oh well. That's probably all I'm going to put on there anyway. Yeah, I better stop right there. Alright. This nice looking load. That should be, I don't know, depending on what the scale price wise is set. It should be probably close to 100,000, maybe 80 something at least. We'll see. Alright. Yeah, it sure does seem brighter on this map for some reason. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. I know you can adjust like sun angles and stuff. I wonder if something was done to this map to make it a little brighter. I only see one shadow, so I don't think there's two light sources. Huh. I may have to pull that back in the Giants editor and take a look at this and see what they did. Just out of curiosity. Okay, so this cell point right here was working fine. Of course, I wasn't trying to load anything into it. I just pulled up there and sold it. But I want to go back over here. Let's see what happens now that I maybe fix this. We'll see. In fact, I'm gonna turn my frame rate back on. As you can see, I'm pegged out at 60. And we'll see what happens whenever I offload these logs onto these blue log racks. Before, it dropped my frame rate down to like 8. Went from 60 to 8. Let's see what happens here. Alright. Oh, no. It's dropping again. I guess I still didn't fix it. That is weird. I wonder why it's doing that. I mean, it's not... You would think that with all those logs on the trailer itself, that it would drop just because they're all there together. But why does it drop specifically whenever I'm over this log rack? I don't know, that's weird. Alright, well I guess I didn't fix it. I'm wondering if those blue log racks weren't just removed altogether, what would happen? Because I feel like it's those that's causing the problem. On there good the first time. Huh. That's odd. See, and it's still got my frame rate low, and then I think eventually it'll pop out of it. Yeah, see, there it goes. So now it's back up to 60 almost. Oh, as soon as I move, though. Huh. That's kind of weird. Alright, well, I guess I won't be using this log rack thing cell point here anymore. Spin those around. No, just fall out. Go for it. Oh, this was annoying. Can't hardly even play the game with that frame rate so low. See, the reason I think it's these log racks specifically is I noticed I've used these before. I was going to use them in a map edit I was working on. I noticed that whenever I loaded logs onto them, they were extremely laggy. It's probably the same ones. And I looked at them in Giant's editor. You can see right here where he pieced the two together. So here's the break point. Everything to the left is one log rack. Everything to the right is the other log rack piece. You can see kind of right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see that, but you can kind of see it flickering when I move a little bit. That's where they're joined together. But there's some kind of a transform group in here that I removed that was invisible, and then there was some kind of a trigger or something in here as well that didn't have any need to be in there, so I removed that too, thinking it might fix it, but I guess it didn't. Oh well. Yeah, I may just go in the Giant's editor and remove these log racks altogether and put something else there, because that's not going to work. Can I pick those up? No. Okay. I'd like to sell those as well. And I can't reach them. Oh well. Worry about that later. Okay, so I won't be using that sell point anymore, and that means I can return that high stacker. Well, this one's closer anyway. Plus, what I plan on doing at some point, somewhere, is putting the production sawmill in. Just so we can make some pallets of lumber and sell them at other places and stuff. Oh, there's my truck. I forgot about my truck. I was testing that truck out. I may upgrade that to that over on the Medicine Creek Farms map. Yeah, this is going to be kind of a challenge to farm this map because it looks like they're all on hills and stuff. That's going to be kind of fun. And these little small pine trees over here on the left and these other areas, like those right there on the left, those are kind of cool as decoration, but I can kind of see in some places where they get in the way because you can't cut them, you can't get rid of them. They're just decoration. You have to go in the Giant's editor and remove them. But just have to deal with it. I mean, I like them. Don't get me wrong, I like them, but some situations they just get in the way. Oh yeah, we got to turn around up here. Alright. Well, I'm going to have to cut the video off just a little bit short today. I normally do. I normally go about an hour, but like I said, I got my parents coming over to deliver some stuff and maybe visit for a minute. So I'll get this cleaned up just a little bit, and then we'll continue on next time. Oops. Yep, so the plan is, like I said, to do the forestry until we get, you know, maybe, I don't know, $2-3 million built up in the bank. We can buy some farm fields and then get started farming. And then we'll switch between farming and logging. So probably my plan is going to be, let me look here real quick. Let's look. And it's not going to show it to me there. I believe it's going to be Control... Is it Control S or Alt S? There we go. Okay, so my plan is, you know, during the winter months here, you can't plant anything. See, the planting season's in green. The only thing we could plant during this 1 to 3 period right here of winter is grass, which wouldn't make much sense unless we're trying to make bales. But then, see, it wouldn't do us any good anyway, because if we planted it here, it would have to grow. If we planted it right on day 1, it might be ready by day 3. I don't know, probably not. So it wouldn't make any sense to plant grass anyway. And oilseed radish, you know, I'm not really even sure what that is. Canola we can plant a pretty good ways into fall, same as with oat and wheat and barley. So there are a few things we could plant, but during this winter months here, of days 1 through 9 of winter, we're probably going to be doing a lot of forestry, and probably in this time period right here too of I guess that'd be, let's see, that'd be spring, summer, yeah, so summer days 1 through 6, unless we're doing soybeans or corn or something, you know, planting that, then the harvest wouldn't be till later. You know, we've got a lot of time in there too, or, well, 6 days to do some forestry stuff, so that's the plan. And see, right now though, we don't own any fields, so I can't really plant anything. And so I'm going to log probably all the way through this first season. And then when it gets back around to spring of the second year, then we'll start working on some farming stuff. I think that'll be kind of neat. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Because like I said, you can plant wheat, barley, oats, canola, you know, during that time, which I'm probably going to be sticking mostly to wheat, barley, oats, and canola, maybe some sunflowers, soybeans, maybe corn, most definitely, because we'll be, you know, having some cows. I've never messed with potatoes or sugar beets. We might try that. I don't know. But it looks to me like, you know, you got not really a short planting season for potatoes, but you got a long time to wait before it's ready to harvest. I mean, a whole season before it's ready to a whole season before it's ready to harvest. Of course, I guess it's the same thing with sunflowers. But anyway, we'll deal with all that later. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and we're going to continue on this Ramna series for a good long ways. Like I said, I'm going to try to log all through this first year, and then when we get back around to spring of next year, we'll hopefully have a farm ready to go, some fields, equipment, all that stuff ready to go. And then during the summer and winter of that second season, we'll be doing a good bit of logging, but probably, you know, doing some logging if we need some money or something, you know, throughout the season. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.